Do you ever feel like you need to be constantly switched on to keep delivering more for your clients in your group programs? Do you question the value that you're delivering, whether your prices are right? Do you feel the need to constantly add new things to prove your worth and prove the value? Today, we're talking about how you can actually do less to create more impact for your clients, how streamlining and holding firmer boundaries can actually lead to better client results while preserving your energy, focus, and creativity. Now, I'm going to tell you a story about one of my clients. When I first met her, she was absolutely at her wits' end. She'd moved from a done-for-you social media content creation service into a group program, coaching her clients through her own unique frameworks and strategies for creating consistent content. And what happened was she was conducting these thorough weekly copy reviews, providing individualized feedback to each client, which was taking her hours. And she spotted something really interesting over time. As time went on, as the program progressed, instead of her clients' copy getting better, the quality was actually getting worse. Instead of learning how to do it themselves, her clients had become so reliant on that feedback, also known as rewriting it for them, that they'd stopped taking ownership for their content. They were just kind of slapdash putting things together, sending it and submitting it via the Google form. And she was actually now working harder than they were because they knew that she would be there to rescue them. Ouch. Now, together, what we did was actually redesigned the connection points and touch points in her program to phase out the depths of feedback as the program progressed, to start handing over that responsibility and reducing the hand holding as time went on, setting clear boundaries on her time and the amount of support she was giving, setting clear expectations on how much tweaking and changing she was going to do. And this actually helps with getting your clients to take responsibility, helping her clients to take the responsibility they needed to, so that she wasn't feeling resentful of the fact that they were kind of paying group offer prices, but she was giving them that done for you service level of touch. And it's a really tough lesson to learn. I had a similar experience with a membership program. I ended up burning it down because I was overgiving so much that I got to the point where I couldn't sustain it anymore. And it is a familiar trap that I see my clients falling into over and over. Whether it's giving so much in depth feedback that it creates this sense of dependency, whether you're constantly adding more training videos because you have so much knowledge to share and you are a generous, passionate expert and you really want to help your clients get results. Maybe it's that kind of jumping into Canva for another couple of hours to create a new template for client A because she just doesn't like the format that you've provided for everybody else. And being this overstretched, trying to meet every client need is totally exhausting. It often backfires because it creates a sense of dependency on you, and they still don't appreciate all the effort that you're putting in. And it creates a program that you want to burn down. We're not here for that. So today I want to give you a permission slip to do less. And this permission slip comes with a mindset shift. And I want you to leave this session today with this shift. Your clients do not need more content. They do not need more training, more resources, more calls, more critiques. What they need is the right support and encouragement to take action at the right time. They need to understand their goal and they need to understand the steps that they're going to take to get there. They need to understand what action and success looks like. And you are going to demonstrate all of that clearly to them in your program. When we do this, we move from quantity of information into quality. We move from breadth into depth, into gaining mastery of a particular skill set, habit, behavior shift, mindset change that they need to make that is going to improve their lives. We want to make sure that our process that we're taking them through is simple. Simplicity keeps clients engaged and helps them to achieve. If we are throwing in co-working calls and a million resources and 100 hours of videos, they are having to make a decision about where they spend their finite time. We want to make sure that we can give them exactly what they need in as little time as possible. And we also want to ensure that we are setting expectations and holding our boundaries. Boundaries create structure, they create consistency, they create a framework within it which we can successfully function as humans in this kind of relationship and with your clients also working with each other as well. So we start by defining the core program promise. This is the outcome that your clients have signed up for, the outcome that you've promised in your marketing materials. And what we don't want to do is brainstorm everything we know and then decide the outcome. We look at what we know and understand about ideal client and we say, this is the solution that they need. This is the outcome and the result that they're looking for. And from that point, we look backwards and determine what elements of our knowledge, what content, what calls and resources they need to get to that outcome. It is not giving them everything you've ever created. It is not the same as replicating your one-to-one program in a group context. It's looking at that outcome and it's looking at everything that is going to help them get there. And this is a curated, streamlined path of least information. We do not want to give them everything to get to that promised outcome. We want to give them as little as possible so they get there in the fastest way possible. So if you find when you're looking at your content, looking at your call structure, looking at the resources you're providing, you see that actually this isn't really essential to meet that promise, I would challenge you and encourage you to cut it out, get rid of it. And every time you find yourself wanting to jump into Canva or to jump into, Loom or wherever you're recording training content, I want you to consider whether it's really necessary. When you're thinking, actually, I'm going to do a half an hour copy critique for this particular client, consider, is that really what they need right now? Or do they need you to reshare the framework and show them a demonstration of what that looks like so they can apply it to their context rather than you rewriting it for them? We want to make sure that everything that we are doing is highly focused on a weekly basis. So we're building progression over time and we're kind of repeating ideas and concepts over time so that the depth and understanding deepens over time. What we don't want to be doing is kind of throwing everything at them to the point where they feel overwhelmed. And one of the most effective ways to represent this kind of curated, streamlined path of information is a visual roadmap. This is an image that takes them through the process, the key milestones, the action steps, and demonstrates to your clients this is what success looks like. In phase one of the program, you will deeply understand your ideal client. Success here looks like you can define clearly and articulate clearly in 30 seconds who your ideal client is. The action steps that you're going to take is market research, social listening, etc., etc. So we provide this visual roadmap as a constant point of reference where our clients can track their own progress, but we can also see where they're at on the journey. And when we create this roadmap, if there's anything that isn't necessary, we can get rid of it. And finally, we want to make sure that we are establishing clear boundaries and expectations. This is not just for your own well-being, your own energy levels, but this is also about ensuring that your clients have the best possible experience. Boundaries ensure that you're delivering at your best without the need to constantly be switched on, without the need to consistently overgive. So this could look like limiting access to you. So instead of saying that you're going to be available 24/7 in the community, it actually looks like I'm going to be available 9 to 9:30 and 3 to 3:30 every day to respond to your questions. Maybe you've got a Voxer chat, and instead of always answering questions at any time of the day when they come in, like 10 o'clock at night when you're brushing your teeth and Sarah needs a response because she's just about to have this breakthrough and you really want to help her. Actually, you have set office hours and they just have to wait a little bit. As long as you've set that expectation up front, that's okay. But you need to communicate it clearly and then hold the boundary. The worst thing you can do is either not communicate the boundary and then feel resentful when they overstep the boundary, or when you've communicated the boundary, but then don't hold it, because it sends mixed messages. So we need to be both good at communicating our boundaries and expectations and also good at holding them. No client, whether they're in a group program or in a one-to-one offer, has the right to access you 24/7. It's not sustainable in the long term, and it breeds resentment. It means over time you become more exhausted and the quality of your delivery will drop. And the quality of delivery is fundamental to your brand and reputation and your positioning. So you need to make sure that you preserve these boundaries above all else. I get it. You're a workaholic. You're passionate about your business. You're passionate about client results. You do not want to be that person who kind of creates the set it and forget it, over promises in their marketing, and completely under delivers. I absolutely hate set it and forget it courses where there is no access to the creator, the passive income product. Why? Because they are highly ineffective at creating results. Data shows it, anecdotal evidence shows it too. And you have been there, or your clients have been there, and you do not want to be that person that makes a promise that you don't deliver on. So what you've done is you've gone the other way and you've overgiven consistently because you want them to succeed. The problem is that with that approach, you are the one that suffers in the long run, and so does your business. So building in these boundaries, building in expectations helps you to create a sustainable approach to your business, one that you don't want to burn down, one where you're delivering incredibly well, but within, a kind of contained amount of giving. We want to make sure that, our clients know when they're going to get replies from you. Is it going to take 48 hours for you to respond to a Voxer voice note? Is it that actually you're only going to respond within office hours and you set those ahead of time? And set guidelines for how and when clients can engage with you and the group. Set the expectation that actually in the first instance, if they have a question, they need to make sure that they've referred to the roadmap, that they've watched the relevant training and used the relevant resources. Have they checked the FAQs? Have they kind of spoken to their peers in community or in their accountability pod before they come to you to ask the question? Before you create a new resource, just because Sarah doesn't like the thing that you've already created, make that decision of actually, is this necessary for me to create this? Or actually, is this an overstep of the boundary where really the resources are there? I've explained clearly how to use them, and Sarah just needs to get on with it. Now, the caveat to this is obviously if you are getting repeated requests for the same resource, the same training, you're getting the same questions asked over and over again, that is indicative of a gap between the content that you're giving and that ability to get to the result that you're promising. It shows and highlights that there is a gap that you can fill with a training, a resource, an additional call, whatever that might look like. But what we're not going to do is kind of knee-jerk reaction when one client requests something. We're going to look at it as a whole and actually understand whether this is a data-driven decision, looking at, kind of that consistency of I'm getting the same feedback over and over again, or whether it's actually just feel like I need to do something about this and I need to fix it because, they're not happy. So look at it from a holistic perspective, not just a knee-jerk reaction, because no matter what you do, there will always be something that someone's not happy with, that somebody doesn't engage with, and that is perfectly normal. You are not going to get 100% of your clients to engage 100% of the time. And we'll talk about that next session. So create those guidelines and hold those guidelines, hold the boundaries. It empowers your clients to be self-led. They know the roadmap. They know what success looks like. You've created this curated pathway to success. You're giving them all the tools that they need. You're giving them the support, the encouragement. You are not leaving them on their own, but you are also not killing yourself in the process. So consider what boundaries you can put in place. Consider, is there any content in your program that actually you need to get rid of, that you need to ditch because it is going over and above beyond the scope of the program outcome? And also consider whether there's anything that you could streamline or simplify to reduce the sense of overwhelm or having to make decisions. Do you really need a Q&A call and a hot seating call? Or do you really need a co-working session and a coaching call every week? What does it look like to streamline, to simplify? So just as a quick reminder, the 3 strategies to help you reduce this need to overgive. Firstly, is that mindset shift of actually giving more isn't helping them. Giving more is leading to overwhelm, is leading to disengagement. It is creating the exact opposite effect of what you want it to do, as that being that supportive, encouraging leader that creates the results that they promised. Giving them too much is going to switch them off, which reduces the effectiveness of your program. It impacts your reputation as a leader that delivers true and real results. So take that mindset shift away with you, but also decide and define your core program promise, the single focused outcome, result, tangible change shift in habits, behaviors, beliefs, or skill set that they're going to get from your program. Then look at how you can structure it following that path of least information approach. How can I get them there in the shortest amount of time or with the least amount of information, the fewest resources, the fewest calls to jump into? Because people are busy. They don't want to have to make decisions and choices about how they use their time. They want to know, right, I've got 2 hours and I'm going to get everything that I need to do done in that time frame. And then set and hold those boundaries so that you can protect your energy and show up in the best way possible, but also you reduce that sense of dependency on you to be the rescuer. You are not a savior. You're a guide. You're a facilitator of action and change. Thank you so much for listening to the Overgiving Trap. Remember that doing less isn't about giving less. It's not about less value. It's focusing intentionally on the impact you want to create. Your clients and you will be better off for it. And next time, we're going to be diving into why your clients aren't engaging and how to fix it. This is looking at key insights into why our clients are disengaging and actionable strategies to drive and boost consistent participation. But for now, I'm going to open up the floor to Q&As.